To begin the cheesecake, use a 10-inch spring-form pan. Cover the bottom with a round piece of parchment, letting it hang over by about an inch. This makes it much easier to remove the cheesecake from the pan once it's cooked. Lock the base over the paper and place onto a round piece of foil and fold up the sides. The foil will help protect the cheesecake as it bakes in the water bath. Lastly, fold a large strip of foil, about 3 feet, and wrap this securely around the pan. Spray the inside with nonstick spray and set aside. Next, mix together the flour, icing sugar, brown sugar, and salt. Add the butter and cut in with a pastry cutter or fork. Break up the egg yolk and drizzle over top. Keep mixing, cleaning the cutter from time to time with your knife. Then gently knead the dough with your hands until it comes together. When you press, it should hold together like this. If the dough is too soft, you can chill it slightly in the refrigerator. Then flour the counter and shape the dough into a round. Gently roll and turn so it doesn't stick to the counter. As you need to, flour the top of the dough and the rolling pin. Don't worry if it's not perfect. This is a very forgiving dough. Now fold the dough over and transfer to the pan. Press the dough into place and make sure the dough is snug against the sides. Then chill in the freezer for about 30 minutes. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for approximately 30 to 35 minutes or until golden. Remove and let cool slightly. You can see the sides have separated from the pan. Gently press the edges up against the sides so the filling doesn't leak to the bottom. Now, let cool completely while you make the filling. Before you make the filling, be sure all of your ingredients are at room temperature. To start, blend the cream cheese until smooth. Add the sugar and continue to mix. Then add the vanilla, ginger, clove, cinnamon, and fresh nutmeg. Lastly, add the pumpkin puree and mix until blended. Scrape the sides of the bowl to ensure it's all incorporated. Add the eggs one at a time, scraping the bowl as you go. Blend the mixture together, but don't overmix. It should look like this. Pour into the crust, smooth the top a bit, then place into a roasting pan. Before placing into the oven, have a large jug of hot water ready. Place the roasting pan into the oven, then fill with the hot water until it reaches halfway up the sides of the cheesecake. Bake for 1 hour. Check the cheesecake by gently shaking the pan. This is a bit loose and feels soft underneath. It will need another 10 to 15 minutes. Now it's puffed up slightly and it has a more solid jiggle. It also feels more firm underneath. Keep in mind it will continue to cook as it cools and sets. Take the cheesecake out of the water and place onto a cooling rack for a few minutes. Then run a knife along the edges to prevent the top from cracking as it cools. Remove the foil, and if there is a bit of water, don't worry, the cheesecake will be fine. Leave the ring on and let cool for about 30 minutes. Then refrigerate on the cooling rack for at least 12 to 48 hours. To serve the cheesecake, slide a knife around the edges one more time. Remove the ring and gently lift the cheesecake onto a cutting board. Use a flat spatula to loosen the paper, then slide the parchment out from underneath. To cut the cheesecake, place a long knife into hot water. Wipe off the excess water and slice. Do this each time you make a cut, and you will end up with perfect pieces every time. This cheesecake is great on its own or served with a dollop of whipped cream.